Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We're doing another Marvel Crisis Protocol unboxing today, and it's Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight from the Thanos' henchmen. If you're not familiar with these folks, they are part of the Black Order, and they've been in the comics. And of course, you probably know them from Infinity War or Endgame. I believe they are actually husband and wife, and yeah, they're some nasty folks. There's some nasty folks. Also, there's still time left to enter to win the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. Just got to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. I will be putting these together too. So if you want to see, them off the sprue and fully assembled, I'll be working on doing that. Also, once we take a look at everything that comes in here. So first thing we're gonna do is look at the sprues, look at the plastic. We're gonna have, it looks like, I think Glaive goes on the bigger base. And then Proxima goes on the smaller one. We'll double check the instructions for that because we have, let's see. Got that one, and then, yeah, it looks like she's on the smaller base. I mean, they're the same size people, but maybe because his pose is spread out so much more. Yeah, all right. So we've got two of the larger bases and 4 of the smaller bases with all kinds of little cups and crushed beer cans and all of that stuff you come to expect. This looks like our Corvus Glaive sprue. So there we go. We got the arms, the legs. Doesn't look like there's anything that's too small. Looks like they managed to get the head all as one piece, which is really impressive. Bravo. Well done. I like to see heads complete. And we have also Proxima Midnight here. We got her head right there. We got the legs. These are we got a couple of somewhat smaller pieces right there. Those shoulder pads or something like that. I hate shoulder pads, but it's okay. It doesn't look like this one's going to be too particularly hard. Again, it also looks like the head is just one piece. Now, I believe this is one of the first expansions to come out that wasn't initially on display when the game first was revealed at Gen Con, because they had a lot of miniatures on display, a lot of things planned, not a lot of stuff mass produced yet. So this is like some of the first stuff that's actually would have been new if you hadn't been following along yet. And then of course we're gonna take a look at the cards and all of that stuff too. All right, so we've got Proxima Midnight here. She is got 5 health. She moves at a long range, which is gonna be awesome. Of course, height 2. Costs 3. She's got 3 for each for defense. She's got a standard strike with pierce, so that's actually, she's got a pretty strong strike. She's got the spear throw, which is also free. And then it also, after it's resolved, you get to place her within range 1 of its target, and it poisons. So that's actually really strong as well. And then she's got Quantum Starburst. If it deals damage, the attack, they gain bleed, poison, and stun. So that's actually really nasty. Of course, it's going to cost 4. So she has martial prowess, and you might have think, I almost thought it said marital prowess because it talks about because they're husband and wife, but no. Martial prowess for 2 for a superpower. When she's targeted by an attack within 2, she can use the S superpower. Instead of rolling dice equals defense, it's going to roll 5 defense dice. And if it suffers nothing from that attack, then the attacker suffers 2. So we saw this with Gamora. It's kind of the same thing. It's that really strong melee defense. So you want to attack her from range if possible. Or unless, of course, you're attacking with more than 5, which is nice. And then, of course, she is the wife of Corvus Glaive. This is free. At the end of this character's activation, if it's within 4 of Corvus Glaive, and allied Corvus Glaive, of course, you can use the superpower. If he does not have an activated token, he may activate before your turn ends. So basically, if she goes, Corvus Glaive can go immediately after her. They can go together as a team. And then she's invulnerable, so you're going to reduce damage. Flipping her over, looks like, I don't think there's really any difference here. Still 5. Everything is about the same there. Yeah. So still 5. All right. Just different artwork on the other side. We've got Corvus Glaive here, who is costs 4. He's going to be a little more expensive. He's only medium, but he has the slightly larger base, so that it should balance out to be about the same. He's 6 health, so he's going to be a little tougher.
And he's got a basic strike with Pierce also. Just really, really strong strike. He's got the Atom Splitter, which is just a regular, that's kind of a standard ranged attack. He's going to gain 1 power when it happens, so not that great, but it's range 4, so it's a pretty good range for a ranged attack. And he's got Death Blow, which is going to cost 4. It rolls 7 dice. After it's resolved, he can advance, and it has Flurry, so he may make another strike. So that's a really strong melee attack. He's got, you can pay 3 during his next strike or death blow. You add blanks in this attack pool to its total successes. So if you manage to get 7 power on this guy, he is going to be able to hit extremely hard. But it's or. So if you do death blow and then flurry and then add the strike, it's only going to be on the death blow, not the strike both. You're not going to be able to, pay this once and do both of them. And then, of course, he's got Husband of Proxima Midnight. So, again, if he goes first, then she can go. So you definitely want to run these two together. He's got the Glaive of Immortality. When you suffer 1, you're going to reduce it. So, I mean, very similar to Proxima Midnight's Invulnerability. And he also has Gem Bearer, and he can wear both the Reality and the Time Gem. And we get some of those, well, we get at least one of those cards here. We get a couple of cards, so we'll take a look. First, let's look at the Time Gem. Like all Reality Stones, this one is going to give you an extra power during your turn. This one actually costs 2, and it gives you the Time Gem ability. And to do that, it's you're going to pay 2. This character may perform an additional action. This activation, this superpower, may be used only once per turn. Now, the interesting thing about all of this is that's the costing of that, because you're capped at, I believe, 8 power. So to be able to do like Glaive's Edge, like and Death's Blow and an extra action, like you just don't have enough to normally be able to do that. So it's this you kind of limits the just how crazy you can get in just one turn. But with some creative timing, you might be able to take a strike first, and then you have enough left over to do a powered up Death Blow and followed by another strike if you ended up having enough. If your strike hits hard enough. But that's actually a really cool. That's maybe the best Infinity Gem I've seen yet. So we've got Execute here. When Corvus Glaive targets an enemy character with an attack that's within range 1 of an allied Proxima Midnight, or vice versa, both characters can play 2. The enemy characters roll no defense dice during this attack. Insane, especially if you do your. So what was I just saying about like the big power stuff? If you're going to be paying. If you're going to use Glaive's Edge and Death Blow at the same time, you're not going to have enough power to also play that. So it's going to have to be one or the other, which is just insane. You've got Blood to Spare, the Black Order. When a Black Order character would be dazed by an enemy effect, you can spend 3 to play this card. This character may immediately perform an attack before gaining the dazed token. If this attack results in the character removing damage, it is not dazed, so they can potentially you think you got somebody knocked out, or at least for the round, and they can surprise you. So I like that one. And this is another Black Order, so that's actually an interesting thing here, is like everything here is for the Black Order. Choose an injured or an injured allied character, and this is Price of Failure, to play this card. Other allied characters gain 3 power. The chosen character is knocked out. So if somebody was like, you know what, dude, you're just, I'm gonna let you die, but we're gonna feed everybody else power. And this could be a thing that you do for, like, especially for Corvus Blade, since he's got such steep power demands. So that'll be fun. Let's go ahead and start putting these. We're gonna put these together, but actually, let's look at the Black Order card here too. We've got Thanos, Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, and Black Dwarf. I'm curious why they didn't put Supergiant in here, because Supergiant is another one of the Black Order. Maybe, I mean, they can always add more people at some point, but I know Supergiant wasn't in the movies, and maybe they thought she'd be too close to Proxima Midnight, because I think that's what she looks like. I'm a little rusty on that. But then they could always come back someday and do Thane, and that would be another person to maybe put with Thane. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then, of course, we've got our tokens here. There we go. All right, let's put these together. All right, so they are all put together now. Here is a look at
Proxima Midnight. This one went together real easy for the most part, but there were two parts that did give me trouble, and they were both in the forearms and the elbow joint, because they had two little pieces that had to go together to create like the extra little bit of armor right there. This one wasn't so bad, but this one right here on this back forearm, this little piece right here was super tiny and popped off in my hand before I could get it. Like when you got big old fingers like mine, you're trying to grab something that's literally the size of a grain of rice and glue it to another piece that's literally the size of like a slightly larger grain of rice. Sometimes pieces just kind of pop out of your hand, and then trying to find a gray piece on my gray floor took me a while. So I just don't know why like a piece of upper arm needs to be two pieces. Like it's like that does not make sense. It's really frustrating. But overall, I mean, like the model came out really good. Like she looks good. I love the pose too. She's got this whole like the spear behind her. She's just like she's getting ready to chuck it. You know, I like that. Speaking of great poses, Corvus Glaive has a really menacing pose. Like he's jumping out at you. He's got the arm kind of back there. He actually went together very easily. Very easily. No tiny little parts on this dude. He does have the gaps there on his legs, and I thought, I was like, wow, that's really bad. But then I looked at the picture, and he's got him there too. I guess he's supposed to have a gap on his like at his knees. Maybe it's part of his clothing or something like that. Because I was like, wow, that looks really bad. But if it's supposed to be there, then I guess it's supposed to be there. But yeah, and his cloak is pretty wicked also. And it's a real thick cloak, because the cloak is actually what supports him. You had to have him, like the cloak glued to the rock, and then that glued to the base. So he's entirely held up by a very little spike that sticks out from the cloak and goes into that rock. So it took a long time for him to dry and like not, because like he's gonna topple over otherwise, right? So he's being held on by just a little piece, and that's why it's good to use the extra thin cement here, because that actually bonds the plastic together, makes it one piece, so it's less likely to fall off. Of course, we got to let it dry all the way through. All right, guys, that is about it. Yeah, this has been another Marvel Crisis Protocol video. We've got one more coming here shortly, and then we're waiting a little bit longer for more stuff to come out. Looks like Thanos hopefully will be coming out fairly soon, so I'm excited for that. And then we'll see you guys later. All right, well, that's all I got. Thank you so much. Big thanks to my patrons on Patreon. You guys definitely help make this possible. These expansions are not cheap, so for me to keep bringing you guys unboxings and product reviews and gameplay and all that stuff, I definitely appreciate it. I want to thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.